Over the last few months, interest rates on savings accounts have come down, which probably means you should find a better place to park your money. And some people are saying, hey, you might as well put it inside of your Roth IRA. And I ain't gonna lie, that sounds like a good idea, right? Right? No, that is not a good idea. So exactly why am I so against this? Let's go ahead and break it down. Look, I totally understand why this sounds like a good idea, because inside of your Roth IRA, you can invest in a stock that makes a ton of money. For example, Google in the last 6 months, the time we're doing this video, is up 70%. But yes, we know the stock market can fall. So let's say that no, we don't want to invest in a stock because my emergency fund, right, my savings account is not where I want to put my money for a stock, right? So I can also just put it in some sort of money market fund within my IRA. I can just consolidate my stuff. I don't need a separate savings account for this. These are things that people do say. I'm not just making this case up for views. This is a thing. This is a thing that people say, but not you. That's why we're here, right? That's why you're here. That's why you hit the subscribe button. Go ahead and do that. Let's say you're not doing that. Instead, you can do some sort of money market. They have money market funds within your Roth IRA that you don't have to do anything with, right? You don't have to invest per se, and you can get paid the same or very similar that a high yield savings account can get you. It's inside your Roth IRA. You can withdraw it. Cool, right? You can do that, and that would be fine. Except no. No, here's why. Number one, use the tools that we have for what they are intended for. You have a high yield savings account for your emergency fund. You have a Roth IRA for savings. The R is there for retirement. That is what it is primarily used for, and you should use it for that reason. Let me give you an illustration here. I can grab this. I can take this microphone. Let me unplug all of this stuff, right? If I am building a bookshelf here, I have a hammer. Instead, I can take this heavy microphone and I can just slam it on a nail and nail things in with this if I really wanted to. Is that what this is built for? No, it's not, but I can force it to work. That is what you are doing with a Roth IRA. And you're making that your high yield savings. You're making that your emergency fund. You are forcing it to do something it's not built to do. It's not supposed to do that. And here is why that is dangerous. Number one, remember, there's a limit to how much you can put inside of a Roth IRA. Now that limit does change, but you're supposed to, and I'll put that in air quotes, you are supposed to have 6 months. I argue it should be more, but people are saying, 3 to 6 months. People are changing that to 1 year, perhaps 18 months of your emergency savings. So if you can only put, let's say, $7,000, and again, these numbers do change, but if you can only put $7,000 a year, is that 6 months of your savings? How long is it going to take you if you are capped? If you are capped, how much money can you put in there while also investing some percentage of that money too? Ooh, that's going to be quite difficult. It's going to take you much longer if you're saying, hey, I want to invest half of that money, but also half of it is going to my emergency. How many years is it going to take you if you're only doing half and half? How are you going to do that? So that's number one. You're capped at how much you can put in there. The other part of it is this. You are wasting valuable real estate within that account. Remember, especially for a Roth IRA, this is an account where you get to put money in and withdraw it tax-free, which means it gets to grow at whatever rate that it is growing at because you are investing, and you get to take it out tax-free. So you mean to tell me that you are wasting that space, whether it's $10 or $20 or $30,000 that you don't need to use it for, that could have been growing tax-free? That could have been growing tax-free, that is not growing efficiently. It's just sitting there, doing what it could have been doing exact same way in a high yield savings account over there. Where you could have said, hey, I'm going to take that same $30,000 somewhere else, right? A separate bucket, not the same, a separate bucket, and been investing that in Google or an index fund or Tesla or whatever investment that you like that could have been growing aggressively in something else, and take that money out tax-free. You are soaking up that space. Okay, soaking up that space with something that's not truly growing. A space that you don't get back. Because again, you're limited with how much money you can put in there every single year. That's not something that's going to help you. Even though, yeah, you can pull out some of that money every year, the money that you put in. So what? Putting it in a savings account for what it is built for is what you should be using it for. That is how that is supposed to work. Maybe it's because I'm getting older, maybe it's because of the internet, but we get into this space where we're trying to make things more complex and have all these hot takes when we truly do not need them. You don't need to make things more complex than what they are supposed to be. I don't need a microphone or a book or a boot when I just need a hammer to do something that is quite simple, and in this case, quite obvious. This is one reason why there are people who feel like, hey, should I be doing this? Should I be doing that? Like I feel like I'm checking all the boxes, but hey, I feel like I'm behind. I feel like this I'm not doing all the things I should be doing. Or I'm not where I should be progress-wise, right? That is why I got back into, one of the reasons rather, why I got back into the financial advisory field, so I can help people create confidence and clarity so you can build momentum, and I can help you to build a financial plan that helps you in this economy, because this economy is a bit different and the information that people are getting is vastly different than what we needed, let's call it 15 or even 20 years ago. And this here is one of those things that's just like, hey, you know, it sounded smart at first, but the more you think about it, the worse off that it actually gets. So no, absolutely not. You do not want to use your Roth as a savings account. You want to keep those two things separate, because that is a valuable piece of real estate that you want to grow tax-free for you. That is what it is built for. Is it a perfect thing? No. It's not perfect. There are other things out there like a Roth 401k. That is even better, right? But use it for what it was built for. Have your high yield savings account that is separate. And we can talk about what you think the best high yield savings accounts are. Even though you are not going to be paid the most on it. You don't have to maximize every single dollar out there. I'm going to tell you now, so far this year, interest rates are expected to continue to fall. And that's okay for your savings account. That's okay. Once you hit your comfort level, whether that's 6 months, whether that's 12 months, whether that's 18, I think 18 is a month, enough, that's a year and a half. I think at that point, you can say, hey, that's enough for my savings. I'm going to invest every possible dollar beyond that. I think that's fine. Okay, that's how I view it. But again, if you want to talk one-on-one, you can go to buildingbread.com/call Kev. If you want to learn more about personal finance and everything in between, you want to check out these videos,